Hey y'all, Barley here, and today I'm flying to Marathon Key in this. To give some good or bad news to some of my crews. Alright, we've got some aviation news time, and if you stick around until cruise, I'll tell you how you can help decide the next region of the Americas, North and South, where we will expand BRAT, my OnAir airline. We'll also do some on-air stuff. We'll look into all my switches to where I expect them to start up, because this is a quick startup. Well, we're gonna do some on-air stuff, look at the industry's beta, and chat in cruise. But for now, it's time to kick this pig. Perfect. Now we just need a battery and a light. This is my first. Oh, light in it. Yep. We have our battery. That's all we really need to start, other than engine instruments. Looking for about 18 NG. 18. And we add fuel. Off way, and once it's in the green, he's good. Oil pressure, temperatures, all. Oh, there. High idle. Not gonna take off yet. There you go. And get the generator going. The auto back up. Air source that automatically moves between the left and the tank. Stay balanced. Our electrical trim, lights. You need some, and we are having taxi lights. Those things. Quickly check our flight plan. Make sure it's taking us where we expect it. All right, that's all set up. Put on here. We can put that on. Have the amount of fuel we're expecting. Roughly gallons. Calculate that to pounds. That's just one the sim brief. 1,072. What we expect. Okay. Auto. Let it handle it. On systems. Here looks good. Let's get our clearance, shall we? I probably could have done battery.
Owen Roberts Tower Barley 01 IFR to Kilo Mike Tango Hotel ready to copy.
Yes, I am.
Barley 01 is cleared to Kilo Mike Tango Hotel Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 26 climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure frequency is 128.1 squawk 1221.
Runway 26, 12,000, 28.1, 1221.
Barley 01 cleared to Kilo Mike Tango Hotel Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 26 climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure on 128.1 squawk 1221.
Barley 01, read that correct. Contact ground on 118.0. Good day.
Runway 26. I'm very familiar with this airport. I already know. That's 261. We'll be going IS about 130. Oh, I have to punch the button. All set. Now we just clear that we have heading. IAS. For FLC in the case flight level change. That. I don't know if it'll let me arm nav now, will it? Start with heading and then I'll just switch it. Everything else is set. Altimeters are set. Check fuel. Fuel was good. GPS is set. This is set to FMS. Magenta. And verifying up here, we have heading and FLC. We are lights on. Here. I think everything's here looks fantastic. Let's get out of here, shall we? Alright, so let's request our taxi.
Owen Roberts ground, Barley 01 with Echo ready to taxi IFR.
Parking brake.
Barley 01 taxi 2 and hold short of runway 26 via taxiway cross runway 08. Contact tower on 118.0 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 26 using taxiway cross runway 08 Barley 01.
Go do those things. There's no taxi we could actually talking about. Landing lights. Clear. Clear. Still not happy with the sensitivity on my pedals. Work on that. Been messing with that over the last couple of flights. But lots of exciting things to relay to you on this flight. So this is kind of it's an evaluation and familiarization flight all in one, but without a familiarization pilot. So this is going to be me learning this. It's definitely trying to weather vane to the right, so we must have a crosswind from the right. Little one, not a big crosswind, but there is definitely one coming from our right. Knots maybe. Hopefully nothing we can't handle. I've never taken this plane off, much less in a crosswind situation. Oh, it's not. Oh, okay. It's not a direct component either, so it's not going to be much. Good. Let us not be dealing with too many things. We're a new and unfamiliar aircraft. flaps down. Know that we are here and ready.
Owen Roberts Tower Barley 01 ready for departure runway 26 IFR to Kilo Mike Tango Hotel.
Nobody on approach.
Barley 01 altimeter 29.71 wind 225 at 6.
Enter 7.
Cleared for takeoff runway 26.
Landing lights are on. As well as many other lights.
Barley 01, did you copy?
I did.
Cleared for takeoff runway 26 Barley 01.
I have to get used to running my own radios again. Okay, so a little bit from the left. Start out with full and then full yoke to the left. Figure out how much we need. Set. It's back. There's 85. Gear up. .115, flaps up. Boy, it does get up and go. Holy crud. But it definitely feels the wind. Lighter aircraft is power back. Takeoff power for the climb. It'll let me pull
Barley
it back.
01, contact Kingston Center on 128.1.
Alright, get our yaw damper on.
128.1 for Barley 01.
And fly it for a little bit to get a feel for the girl.
Copa 235, contact Havana Center on 133.7. Good day.
Kingston Center Barley 01 is at 1,800 feet, climbing 12,000 feet.
Barley 01, Kingston Center altimeter 29.71, continue as planned.
Air 71, continuing as planned. Good with all those things.
Going to 133.7 Copa 235.
Climbs, alright. Gear is up, flaps are up. We will be cruising at 31,000 feet. Saying goodbye to Grand Cayman. Been here for 3 weeks. Getting things settled, and because Grand Cayman just became an integral part of our Caribbean strategy. But it's time to move on. That climb here, and then you may be wondering what the good or bad news is that I have to deliver in the Keys. Well, you're going to make that decision. There's a poll up on the channel page under the community tab. If you want a say in the next area of the Americas that we fly in, go do that poll. There'll be more on that as far as details and the, things to think about as far as which way you want us to go. But what you might want to know right now is, what's with the TBM? Well, I needed something a little faster than the Chancellor. And of course, the King Air would fill that role, and still my favorite plane to fly, but it's too big, and it's got two gigantic Pratt & Whitneys that, maintenance time, and they eat fuel, all that good stuff. So realistically, I didn't want to buy a King Air personally. The Airline has a great use for it, for them, and it's the industry stuff. Because you need to be able to get into size 1 airports to pick up lumber and builders and hunters and all sorts of stuff. And the King Air is great for, you know, transporting people and stuff at that level. But I don't need all that. Just to go from FBO to FBO so I can check on things. And if a place needs an extra pilot for a while somebody gets trained up, I can go out there, fly some routes while we train up some new pilots. And that's why I came down here. We were short, and every pilot mattered. So if you've seen the Day in the Life series, you'll see that I flew the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico City route, 11.4 hours of flight time. But I need something faster, and the 350i is a great bird, but it, you know, just for what I'm trying to do is transport me, my laptop, a duffel bag, and some stuff. I didn't need, you know, a plane that's basically $4 million used. And this one's a little faster, about the same range. Just doesn't carry as much stuff. So not good for the airline, but good for the owner. And what I'm doing right now is for cruise, I'm managing my torque. Once we got above about 6,000 feet, I'm going to keep it at 90% all the way to where we're going to 31, but it's going to be in steps. Until I get to 12, they won't give me whatever they're going to give me next. There it is.
And maintain flight level 260.
That's not a bad step. After 260, I gotta believe we're going to 31. Okay, we are now cleared above 18,000.
Please acknowledge.
I was talking to somebody.
Climb and maintain flight level 260 Barley 01.
Let's go to pressure altitude. Both altimeters, or all three, I guess you could say. Oh, and keep 90% torque in. Right. But anyway, I got this TBM on a kind of lease with an option to buy, and depending on a few flights, I'll decide if it's catch and release or a keeper. Stay tuned for that.
Copa Tree 87, contact Havana Center on 133.7. Good day.
And as soon as we get cleared to 31, I have some aviation news, both real-world aviation and simulator aviation news. Share. We'll see how well that goes, because, you know, I don't have enough going on monitoring an aircraft that I'm not as familiar with as I would like to be. Basically spent a couple of days looking up a pilot's handbook and reading magazine articles on piloting the TBM 930. See how much I was able to take in. So far, so good. I'll tell you, the startup is so simple. There's just not much to it. I mean, just make sure all the stuff is in the right position. Turn on a battery and hit the starter. You know, a battery, a light, a starter. That's all you need. And then after that, you just go to the right on the panel and turn everything to auto. It can. Make sure you turn on your bleed air, and you're done. The rest is just a Garmin G3000, and if you've used it in any other plane, it's still a Garmin G3000. And 31 will probably just about, well, I go for an 80% cruise, will be just about firewalled. I'll have to see how we're doing on fuel to decide if I'm going to do 80% cruise or 60 or somewhere in between. again. Now, I did load 30 minutes of extra fuel just because two things. One, first time in the aircraft, I may not be as efficient as pilots who fly it all the time. And two, SimBrief may not have a good idea of how much fuel. I don't know how many lights it has under its belt to know how much fuel you should load. Sometimes it gets it dead on, and sometimes, you know, it's as much as 10% off.
Copa 434, contact Havana Center on 133 decimal.
So far, really easy
Good day.
airplane to manage. There's no prop, mixture, anything else to really mess with.
133
One
decimal 7,
engine
Copa
control lever.
434.
It does everything. It does your fuel conditions on the right side of that little X. It does feathering, and then on the left side you have your power control and reverser. It's just one thing. Super simple. The rest of the systems are heavily managed by the aircraft. Like I said, even you get an auto, where it auto flips back and forth between the tanks, so you don't have to monitor how much fuel. You know, keep your fuel balance manually. That's neat. Of course, with the glass cockpit, everything's right in front of you. So there's, I'd say this is takeoff was good, fairly easy. Rotated it at 85, and it picked up just fine. It wanted a weather vane right away when I picked the nose up, but it's a lighter aircraft than I'm used to flying. Other than the Cessna, but the Cessna doesn't have that. In crosswinds, it doesn't weather vane that bad. Uh-oh. We have it on. Climbing too fast for you? We're at what, 23,000? Cabin diff pressure. Pressurization is on. Help is off, normal. Okay, so it can't keep up with itself. Bad are we? We're gonna have a short stop at 26,000. I'll just delay going up until this levels out, and also pull the power back a little bit, or bring our IS speed up a little bit so that we don't climb as fast. We have out-climbed the bleed air system. But it'll slow down here in a second. Catch up, hopefully. Still going up, so okay, we're gonna have to move this to like almost do a cruise climb going forward. They're going to issue me 31, I think, as soon as I hit 26. I'll delay for a little bit, and then we won't climb as fast on them. In fact, we may just do a VS climb, just to let the pressure catch up. For a bit. Oh, already grayed out what's going on here. I never got the instruction. What did I just acknowledge? Okay. Ah, it's grayed out again. Yep. Oh, Microsoft ATC. may or may not get a next instruction. But hey, our bleed air system will have time to catch up. Otherwise, we are on plan. Put on Tito. We're IFR and it's below 5 degrees. I have a feeling we're going to be without ATC for the rest of this ride. Acknowledge a handoff that I never got. Yeah, it's borked again. Now, sometimes this will fix it, is if I tune it on COM 2, that it'll come back to life. Sometimes you end up with ATIS running down here even though you've not tuned one in. So anything can happen. Welcome to Flying with Barley. But now I'm going to have to sit here and pay attention to this, and it's going to be in my face. But neither one of them... Oh. Yeah, it's not speaking. That's going to be terrible. They did tell me 31,000. We've cleared that other error, so I'll go ahead and go. Be in a huge hurry so that the bleed air system can stay up with us. But yeah, this is totally not working. Means what's really going to happen is I'm going to get thrown off my flight plan because I don't want to keep this up the whole time. I really don't. See, didn't get that, did I? Yeah, I'm going to end up getting... That's fine. Well, we can manage it on our own. Whatever, Microsoft. Alright, so we've been cleared to 31,000. We already talked about the TBM. We kind of mentioned what we're going to... how I need you guys to help out with a decision, and we'll get more into that. I have a feeling that 31,000 we're going to be... No, maybe not. Nice to our turbines. Put it 90. So as far as the aviation happenings, this in the last little bit, a couple of days ago, news outlets were reporting that the U.S. Air Force had conducted a simulation where AI-controlled drones were tasked with knocking out enemy air defenses. When the operator of the drone told the AI drone not to kill the target, the drone instead attacked the operator, who it saw as an obstacle to completing the mission. Now, I actually read this article when it first came out, but there's more to it. So basically, I think it was an Air Force colonel was speaking at some event in England and was relaying this story, and he relayed it, and it made it seem like it was actual simulation that had been performed, and that the AI drone was mad because it only got points for destroying things. So the way I remember the recap is that when the operator said, cancel the strike, return to base, the drone decided that the operator was in its way to getting its points and winning. So in the simulation, it tried to kill the operator. Well, then they went back, according to the Colonel's story, and updated the code so that it wouldn't try to kill the operator. So instead, next time the strike was canceled, it started destroying transmission equipment so that it wouldn't get the order that it had been canceled. Well, a story came out this afternoon, I think, that it was only a thought experiment, and no such simulation has ever been performed by the Air Force, and none like it are scheduled, as far as we know. At least that's what the Air Force is telling us. But that was a funny story that I thought I would share. And then I've got another good one, especially for you ATR fans, because if you're following me, I've flown a lot of ATR since it came out. Really was looking forward to that plane, and I think I've just about got it squared away, fixed the reverse thrust issue. I want to get settled here at 31,000 before. Throttle left, I think. But note to self, once you get above about, I don't know, 15,000 feet in this thing, you got to slow the climb down to like some sort of cruise climb. Best rate's really 124, but I chose 130, just kind of a median. But after about maybe even, at 10,000 feet, slow it down. I don't know. You want to get to thinner air as fast as you can, but not if the bleed air system won't keep up. Right now, we're just out of danger as far as differential pressure. It still hasn't caught up. We're working on it. And there's 31,000. That's 80% torque. The fast cruise. Oh, now the throttle's all the way forward. So we'll get 78%, which burns how much? 7 gallons per hour. We have 130 gallons. That's 2 hours plus, and we'll be there in 311. 50 minutes. Okay. So on to some other news. If I can manage not to screw this up, we want to go to. The story for this is just a few hours ago, an Azul Airline ATR 72-600 in Brazil, like the ones we fly, was evacuated after landing.
Okay.
And I don't speak Portuguese, so not going to be able to help you with what's being said. But people are just jumping out of the doors. Running.
Eu sempre posto stories batendo na portinha do avião há anos e sempre brinquei.
And again, I don't speak Portuguese, so I don't know what he's saying. But, so I found some follow-up stories after I found that video on Twitter. The airline issued a statement saying that an abnormal system indication caused the evacuation. And then local media says that an engine fire indication had illuminated, but was found to have been a false alarm. Then, it also appears that you'll need more than a coat hanger or AAA if you get locked out of your airplane. Southwest pilot was forced to release the cockpit door lock system through a window after a passenger had inadvertently shut the cockpit door while trying to access the lavatory. Yeah. Not your normal day at work, is it? And we know what the CDLS is. If you follow any of the ATR videos, you know exactly what that switch is and what it does. And once that door shuts, if it's set to the lock position, you ain't getting it open. Not after 9/11, that ain't gonna happen. Unless you go through the window. In sim news, nVidia released a driver a few weeks ago that caused Microsoft Flight Simulator to crash to desktop with no error message. Asobo issued a statement advising simmers to roll back drivers all the way to 531.29. Well, 2 days ago, nVidia dropped a new driver. It seems to have alleviated the main concern. Although, for me, it caused a GPU race condition that I got to spend 2 days working to fix. A feature, I'm sure. So if you notice a stutter here or there, know that I'm still working on eliminating the mess that nVidia made for me. It's also why there hasn't been a video out for 3 days. But other than that, there's something called... I should have written it down. I'll find it in a second. But basically, there's a new add-on that replaces the loading screens for Flight Simulator. So you can have it show any airports from a top-down perspective that you want. You can have it show your most recent sim brief plan. So you can start, you can look over your flight plan while you're loading instead of just looking at the images that Microsoft offers. It can... I think it might be called Scraper. Not sure. I'll find it and I'll put it in the description below. It can make it to where, like when you get knocked off the Microsoft network and that dialog box comes up, and until you clear that dialog box, nothing else works. But they have a thing where you can keep that from happening anymore. And then if you don't know how to do fast launch with Microsoft, the dash fast launch thing, so you can skip the cinematics at the beginning, start up the sim faster. It has a checkbox where you can basically make that happen. Like I said, I'll find that and I'll put it down in the description because I did not write that in my notes, so I do not have that. Alright, so on to the expansion. It is real and coming soon. Very soon. I've been laying the groundwork to go either west or south, depending on the board of directors, meaning your decision. That's right, I'm letting you guys decide which way I expand. Rat, my OnAir airline. Now, going south means more Caribbean destinations. Saint Martin, Saint Bartholomew, Saint Bart's, Belize, the Big Blue Hole, Chile, Argentina, Brazil. Lots of small strip stuff and altitude to deal with. New places, maybe some new planes. Might be some good places for an ATR-42 down there. And who knows what other planes will come out and be useful. Now, if we go west, sure, we get the western U.S. But also western Canada, Alaska, Hawaii, western Mexico, western North America. And that could bring challenges. While going south in, June, July means going into Chile in the winter, and going north means going to Alaska during the summer melt. Either place, Alaska is going to offer the same kind of there'll be some short, runway type opportunities, and maybe an ATR-42 opportunity here or there, so that could bring in the short bird. But either of those choices will present interesting and fun challenges, as I am limited to turboprops under the heavy metal series. This is episode 19, by the way. I forget to put that in the description. This is your adventure, so choose wisely, Grasshopper. So if you want to decide which way we go, all I need you to do, and I will put a link in the description below, go to the channel page, Harley Flies, go to the community tab, and down in the posts The most recent one is a poll. Do you want us to expand west into North America, Western North America, or south into the Southern Caribbean and South America? I'm going to totally abide by how that poll comes out. Whichever way you decide, that's where I'm going. Now that we have that out of the way, how much time do we have left before we get there? I think 23:08. Yes, we have probably 20 minutes. Not a lot of time to do on-air stuff. Fuel-wise, still burning, we'll call it 60 an hour. We have 2 hours of fuel, and we're going to be there in half an hour. So yeah, we're fine on fuel. We don't need to pull the throttles back at all. Do need to do is see if we can get a couple of work orders done, maybe, but first I'll go through the industry and factory stuff and how I'm using them, and you can decide if you like what I'm doing and want to copy some or all of it, or you think that I'm being barley, doing it wrong. If I've barleyed up my setup, you can always tell me that too. But, everything here is looking good. There's nothing left to do. The plane is dying phenomenally, but I'm sure ATC is told me to do several handoffs, and it's not going to happen. That's why I need to pay attention to time, because that's a nice indicator for me to come back to the real world. This, don't need it anymore. And let's start. Do I already have on-air running? I do not. Oh, great. Well, since last time I was in, we've leveled up. Level 24. Let's see what our level 24 people are doing. And I'm not using any time compression or anything. This is just a short flight, especially when you're cruising at what? Oh, it shows my indicated airspeed. Doesn't show true on the thing up here, does it? Well, I can show you. It's going to be over 300 knots. Yeah, 326 knots your airspeed. Ground speed, 329. Tiny, tiny, tiny tailwind. We got a little bit of time. I'm at least going to get to the factory and industry stuff, and then we might have time to see if there's a work order that needs to be done. And I don't do the level missions anymore. After about level, I don't know, 14 or 15, they just, I have enough pilots flying that they do this fast enough. Oh, we're going to have some skill points to assign, but first, the factory stuff. So where do I stand with that? So I have my 3. Wild Products is where I have all hunting camps. This is a base camp out on an island southeast of Tampico, Mexico. And this is going to be 9 hunting camps. Each one needs 3 hunters. It needs 3. Each hunter needs 1 hunting gear per day and 1 ration per day. You have to supply all these things out to a base camp where your hunting camps are. And you want it away from airports. The further away from airports, the more efficiency you get. So because I built this far enough away, these all operate at 98%. And they each produce 1 pelt and 5 meat. And then they go into these storage containers. Well, they're not storage. Well, yeah, they are. And if they're over on this light line, so anything on this line is an input, meaning you have to bring it here and it gets stored here until something uses it, right? Anything on this light line, any storage containers out here are output containers, and you can do one of 3 things. You can have them, 2 things. Have them as storage, or use a truck to transport them, and that's what I'm doing. So every time that gets to, since we produce 15 meat a day, every time we get 15 here, a truck picks it up and takes it to Tampico. This, see, and I have to do that because it spoils, right? Pelts don't spoil. So I wait until I have 45 because economies of scale. 1 truck costs less than transporting, 3 a day. The meat, you just don't have a choice. But eventually, when I have 9 of these times 5, it'll be 45. So it will be a full container every day. It goes on a truck and heads to Tampico. Now, you can't to build them, you have to have 2 builders, 10 lumber, and 2 steel. And you have to bring them from other places. You have to fly them in. Well, you don't have to. You can. If you're on Thunder, you have to fly them in. But on our server, we have AI pilots. So your airline has to fly in those things so that you can build. You also need industry points, 40 per hunting thing. That's what's here. To earn industry points, you get 40 at the beginning of. You just get 40 as a gift from OnAir to start, but then you're going to burn that with your very first hunting camp, so you'll have 0. Each day, each hunting camp makes 3 points, so I get 9 points a day right now. That lets me build other stuff. So now you see what I'm doing here, and you can build tanneries, meat smokers, all in here. If you want to do final production here, you can. And if you need, you can put containers out here, and they'll just be a transfer storage. They won't, the trucks won't pick them up, airplanes won't pick them up, they're just going to sit there. Right? But yeah, you can use trucks like I'm doing here, or you can set this to storage, and your airplanes can pick this up and take it wherever. Alright, so all of that's going to Tampico. So what's going on at Tampico? That's Burley's Fur and Fine Leather. My BFF-L-ish. Here, I'm in construction, or... Wait, it was supposed to be... I thought it was supposed to be done today. Tomorrow at 1. Good Lord. It takes 3 days for this. Good Lord. 3 days to build this. And it's the same thing. Builder, lumber, steel, all has to be here to build this. Except this cost 90 points. So I had to save up for a while to do this. But when it's built, it makes 12 points, not 3. And it says this will be nominal production time. 72 hours. Oh. Yep, I'm going to have to rethink. Okay, this was what I was worried about. We'll see if once it comes up, if that's still true, then I'm going to have to tear all this down. Now I'm going to have to move it someplace else. Tampico won't be where it goes. I was worried that even final production would be affected by the fact that it's not close to an airport, it's at an airport. And if it triples the production time, because normally every 24 hours, I would expect this. I could be wrong. Maybe it does take 3 days. Well, I'll have to do some testing to figure that out. Okay, so now you know something to be wary of. If I had created a tannery at like a base camp instead of doing it here, would it have been 24 hours for nominal production time? I won't know until this, if this says 100% or whatever, 98%. If it says 0, then I know we're screwed. But we're gonna have to find out what that means, or 33%, I guess. But anyway, I'm gonna do all my final production. My thought was at the airport, because then I can just have trucks bring it here, do the final production, and then have it stuff here, and I can have the King Air or an ATR or something else take it wherever they're gonna go next. For now, I'll just be selling them. But eventually, I'm sure there's going to be like a coat factory or something where I take the fur and the leather and go make coats out of it. I don't know what further production you would do with smoked meat. So that'll probably just get sold. And that's my plan so far, is I'm going to have 2 hunting camp bases and then 1 final production facility. I may just have to move this facility. And I don't lose if I get rid of this, I don't lose the resource points. I'll get all 90 points back, so I can use them again. But I will lose the 3 lumber, 1 steel, and a builder that I used to build it. And that's not a big deal. And that's pretty much the industry stuff. Let me check back on our flight here. We're not coming up now. We've got time. The only other parts of it are there's a goods inventory and a trading hall. The trading hall is where you get, you go find where you're gonna have to go pick up the builders, the lumber, the steel, hunters, all that stuff that you need. You have to buy it on the trading hall and then go use an airplane to go pick it up wherever it is and bring it to where you need it. And then your The goods inventory just shows you what you have where. Here I've got a bunch of lumber and steel because I was planning to build a bunch of stuff here, and I've got a warehouse here, so I could store this stuff without paying for it, and then just use the Cessna because the King Air can't land at these. These are level 0 airports, size 0. So I use a 208 Caravan to bring things out to these base camps. So my second one is going to be here, and then I may have to use this or move or get rid of it and find a better spot. Might be out here somewhere where there's no airports. There's a lot around that. Yeah, I might have to put one like down here somewhere, and then put my second hunting camp here. Or no, I'm gonna do a second hunting camp there, I think, and then put my final factory here, and then use trucks to send the final factory goods to the airport. So that might have been a bad assumption on my part of building the factory at the airport. We'll see. Live and learn. Alright, well, with that stuff out of the way, we may or may not have anything that needs doing. What's going on with our aircraft? No, we've got some C-130s that need kicking out the door. An ATR too. We've got some flights to do. Really nervous about. I don't want to miss my descent point. Low voltage. How'd that come off? What the heck? Alrighty. No idea. Back to what we were doing. Let's see. Is anybody a 100-hour? Yes, you are not going anywhere. Where are you at? MWCR. You are going to get fixed right there. 100-hour inspection. The engines are fairly new, so it will go all the way to 100. Hour airframe, all 4 engines. Get a quote, $3.5 million. There it is. Okay, I'll get to work on that. Make sure that's the only one. That's not what I wanted. So there's that one. Everybody else has at least one more flight in them. Alright. Let's see if we have people at Tampico. MTM goes to RDU. They finished one, so they need one. And I'm going to need my job screen. And this is me screwing around with all sorts of settings, trying to fix whatever nVidia handed me. So we don't have anything sitting there. Let's do... Pilots available and not sleeping. Got Matthew and Robin Cardosa. We have any? Yes, Jasper and Leon. Alright, we got a full crew. Now we need work for the crew. The top paying stuff. 46 hours is plenty. And 41. first class. Some cargo. Sleep. That is a 10-hour round trip. And then here, same thing. 9:18. First class, any chance? First class only. No, first class only, so we're going to use cargo instead. And here's 16K. Near it. 14. Nope, already. No, it doesn't. Okay, so we can check the other side though. Still, there's a first class only, but that's too many and already needs a human on it. I'm busy. Alright, so we said about 16. There's 12. There's 16. Okay. There we go. Now we got a basically full plane. Already told to sleep, so see ya. We check on our aircraft. Flight plan for top of descent. I don't see anything marked on here for it. Separate. Top of descent is after mover. 4 minutes after mover. Which we are just about to cross. Chrono here, is there? When you're not familiar with an aircraft and you gotta find a chrono. I guess I could use a watch. There's timer. Activated here. No, of course not. That would make sense or something. Button anywhere? Oh, timer right there. Okay. After we cross over, start a timer, and then in 4 minutes we'll start our descent. Out of curiosity. I don't remember what descent profile. 2000. Okay. And where TOD Kesma? And then be 6400 by Vargas. Set 6400. So why don't we just do that now? A lot of twisting and turning. Turning, turning, turning. Those knobbies turning. Button turning. Finally, we're done turning. Start our timer. Hope y'all are enjoying this episode. I spent a little more time with the new stuff. I don't know if you guys like that, don't like it. But I thought we could move the on-air heavy metal story along and get caught up on real stuff. All right. And that didn't do anything, really. Okay, well that doesn't work. Not very helpful, is it? Start timer. Okay, well anyway, 2250. 2254. Let's do it that way. Why doesn't the timer button start the timer? Or is there another timer somewhere I don't know about? I don't see one. Oh, okay. 2254. And that'll put us, we need to drop 19,000. Vargas is 15 minutes. That'll get us there. 2254 it is. I guess we're gonna have to call our own approach. ATC has ceased to function. We were expecting runway 7, I believe. Yep, runway 7. Once we get the descent in, I'll just don't want to miss the descent point. I guess I should, well, do that after I start the descent point, I guess. I neglected a minute and a half. I can do this. Gonna have to be enough. I'm also working, trying out some recording tools so that I can get you guys extra views of takeoff, landing, and other events. Might be nice to see a landing from the passenger's perspective or from the ground, maybe even from the tower. But I have some playing left to do with that. I've been so busy unscrewing the nVidia mess. But as we get closer to approach, should have a pretty good. I'll share what I think about the TBM so far. There it is. I'm These are 2,000 feet a minute. Need to we'll watch our speed. So far, everything seems to work. I haven't had... The only weirdness was when the generator turned itself off. I don't know if I hit a key or bumped something. But I don't purposefully have anything mapped to turn off the generator. I always do that by hand. I don't know what happened there. But it's survivable. That's what annunciators are for. It literally said, "Hey, stupid, you turned off the generator." Something like that. We didn't get all the radio chatter, so I've got FSLTL traffic going, but you didn't get to hear all the other, whoever else is in the sky. We don't know anything about it. Microsoft's ATC is broke. A little speedy there, I think. Back on the throttle. As we descend, it'll help slow us down too. Then again, the prop also gets a bigger bite and the turbine gets more air. Who knows? Let's back a little more. And since that also, we're not going to have any time for more of this, we'll turn this off. Need to try to keep this thing from ripping its own wings off. I'm gonna be there in 9 minutes. And if we lose 18,000 feet, then we'll have it. So we are perfect. Is not a concern. We have this will be 100 gallons, burning 34. We're going to be there in 09. Wow. Oh, because I haven't put a proc in yet. So let's do that. We'll do RNAV 7. Oh, okay. No, that's what I would have picked. We can do vector. I don't know what the transition is. Carno looks like. Load it. Way over there? No. That would be stupid. No, not on that one. Vectors. Okay, so that means we probably need to come out to whatever's here. Go. Not for Jake, I don't think. Alright, well, let's take a look. Watch our speed. Navigraphness. Load. How far? Okay. Marathon approach. Runway 7. Nail it. Go away. There's Janka, so yeah, I guess you do. You come down, do a procedure turn. God, you gotta turn right away, so we're coming basically at it like this. So we wouldn't have a procedure turn. Is there really no... Why isn't there a... We're gonna come right into Janka at 3100. Okay. And we need to be configured by Janka. Alright, so let's go direct Janka. line out here makes me think there's supposed to be an initial approach fix out here, but there's nothing on the chart. It's LNAV, VNAV, so we should get vertical guidance. Okay. We need to be 3100, so let's just change that, our altitude. And now we need to lose 16,000. We're going to be at Jenka in 9 minutes. At 2. Okay, we're good. Then 1900 by Segal. We'll get our glide path at Segal. Or not, but we can tune the ASOS. See if we actually get anything. So ATC's dead. I don't know if the ASOS is too. Eye on our descent, speed, hide, 16, we need to be at 3, so 13, we are 8 minutes, I think that, yeah, fine. Speed is perfect. We go to barometric pressure. Charlie 01, you are some odd miles away from the airport. Expect RNAV 7. You are cleared to Jenka. Time is it? 7:02 local. Just in time for dinner. Yeah, this just makes me think there should be an initial approach fix out here. This works for me, but it had that hold and lieu of on this right here. So it looks like they expect people to come into here at 3100. Well, between 3100 and 10,000, then you can use the hold to spiral down, I guess. But from our direction, you know, we wouldn't have needed a procedure turn. It doesn't mention any of that. Procedure not authorized for arrivals at Carnu. Well, I'm not planning to carnage. Northeast bound. Which, oh, this. Yes, we are northeast bound. That's why I turned that down. I saw that it was way over there. I didn't want it. There was no procedure for those of us who are northeast bound. Right. I think 6 minutes. 12,000. Yeah. That'll give me a few minutes to get us configured. Oh, this will be good. Pretty puffy clouds. Now, let's see how my nVidia changes are doing. Frames are good. GPU is getting used. Not maxed out. It'll be fine. We'll find out once we get to a busy area. I haven't had time to test it. Well, I did some takeoffs from New York City just to try to test, and it seemed fine there. But you know, different conditions with the clouds, the ocean, who knows? I don't know if my simple test was enough to really weed out what needed to be done to make the nVidia stuff work right. I had to change a ton of stuff. Basically, the GPU just went to, so I could be sitting at the main screen and it's 99%. It's pegged. 190 watts of power. Just screaming and not doing anything. And it didn't matter where I was, what I was doing. If I was in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it was pegged. And it was, now, while it was pegged, it was producing like 115 frames. Like if I got in like at Grand Cayman, on the ground, I was getting 115 frames. Like, I don't need 115 frames. It's a flight simulator, not a first-person shooter. Lightning. Should we put some weather over here? Like we're gonna get in ahead of it. It's going that way. Barely though, wow. That wasn't necessarily good fun. We didn't get anything from ASOS, so no weather, no nothing. That's fine. Make it with the B button at least to get an altimeter setting. And I believe that's our island. I truly appreciate everyone that has been following this series, the OnAir heavy metal stuff, the day in the life. It's gotten a lot more attention than I expected. I was making these videos for me. OnAir gives me a real reason, like, I never have to think, gosh, where am I going to go flying? It's usually I have to choose. There's so many things I need to get done to run my airline or to help out, so I have to fly a route or whatever. Or go fix a mess. If you see the early videos, yeah, I made my own messes and had to go clean them up. So there's a lot of that. And this series has gotten so much more attention than I expected. So I really do appreciate all of you who like this stuff. Now, I've made more than 40 videos in 8 weeks. So if you like this one, you're probably going to like some other stuff that I've done. So check out the OnAir Heavy Metal playlist if you like exactly this kind of thing. If you prefer just the full flight videos, that's under MSFS 2020 full flight videos, that playlist. About where I want it, 170, so we can do gear and flaps before we get to Janka. Janka is in 1 minute, so let's go ahead and gear down. make the turn, we're going to drop down to 1900. That will also be VS, but not 2,000 feet. We're going to be right around here, so 500 feet per minute. A little slower than I need. That was a perfectly executed descent, if I do say so myself. Yeah, see, there was something out here that was an IAF. At least the computer thinks so. More. 500. And let's arm approach. Doesn't really tell you up here that it's armed, but over here anywhere? How would you know? Approach is armed. There we go. Just want to make sure. And get ready to take over. Get a glide slope. Oh, we're on it already. Wow, look at that. That's quick. Glide slope. Flight director says we are 5 by 5. First notch of flaps is down. Have the runway in sight. Slowing her down. We need to get to 122, I think it is, to drop the next notch of flaps. Thunder. And the thunder rolls. We're slowing it down. Big old causeway bridge. Down to 122 and then drop the flaps. Trim and get stabilized. There we go. Should be full flaps. Here, 3 greens. 3 greens, full flaps. Okay, a little more power. When I said we were barely going to beat the weather, I guess I meant barely. Now we start trying to get down to about 85. From what I have read, then I think it was in an AOPA pilot magazine, found an article about landing the TBM. Might have been plane and pilot, I don't remember. Oh, 85 is what I'm looking for. And we're gonna... No ATIS, no controller. I think this is an uncontrolled airport anyway. I don't know what the crosswinds are, and I won't until we get down there. No, that's too fast. Looks like wind from the right. We're kind of tracking the that way. There's our 85-ish knots. And then they went away. But also look at, yeah, I know, sterile cockpit, but look at the stall speed on this thing. The red, see the red bar? It cruises at 320 something, max cruise is 345, true airspeed. And then you can land it at 70 knots. All right, yaw dampers out, or autopilot's out. Yaw dampers out. Now it's my problem. Are definitely getting pushed around. Oh, and they got sand over the runway. That's terrible. This is almost like a landing challenge. Jesus. Okay, I'm happy with the speed. Engines cut off. Just level her out. Oh. There we go. I'm good with that. Reversers. Turn first taxiway. Wonderful. We'll turn the first taxi. Lights can go off. Flaps are up. If we can find somebody to park it. Anybody? Oh, that's another one in the books. Take a look at the OnAir Heavy Metal playlist to see the whole story of how this airline was created, built, and where it's going. Now I have to prepare a few flight and ground crews for whatever decision you make on the future of Pratt. Okay. Fueling a fuel truck. Okay, really? You're going to park it right there? The yellow line for me, not you. Thank you. Oh no. Oh, is there anybody down? There's nobody down here. Okay, well then we'll just park wherever we want. I don't see. This is the general aviation area. Anybody? That's a quick plane to shut down, so we'll meander over here, but I don't see... I see another fuel truck. Well, there's no shortage of fuel trucks at this airport. 2 more fuel trucks. Okay, well, that's good to know. Oh, there's a guy walking around. He has sticks in his hands? That's not a good place to park. Where you see one, you find another one. Okay, guess I'll park it myself. He's very busy. That wasn't bad for my first landing in TBM, I don't think. In wind, stormy conditions. I don't think it was awful. I think it was not as barleyed up as it could have been. We have art down there. That's not. We're parking ourselves. That's fine. A good spot. Right on. I don't know where he's standing over there. Is going to be about it. Just walking around plane, walking around. Parking brake is on. Alright. Turn some lights off. Landing's off. That one on until we're done. Bleed air anymore. And those off. That off. That. Okay. This reset. There we go. That was a weird view. Okay. Oh. Could have had that off during approach. Else is off. Right. Only drain right now. Oh, it's just the strobe that's on. All off. That's all off. Generator then. And we can put down the end. Probe and got down the airplane. That's all, kids. Thanks for flying with Barley again. Really do appreciate it. Check out some more videos. There's a lot of them out there. Barley, out.